So most videos are they show you how to take the impeller out and they don't show you how to put it back in. Anyway, there's my little engine, been stripped down for 5 days now waiting for his impeller, and that come today. So anyway, there's the engine. It's easy enough to strip down, 2 nuts and bolts, pull the leg apart, that comes off, 3 nuts and bolts and that comes off. The impeller was in 8 pieces. All I've done now, I put the impeller back in. As I put it back in, the little pin in there tried to rock out of position so it wouldn't go down. So I just got a small screwdriver underneath and held it in position while it went right the way over. It's now gone all the way down flush. Now the impeller housing, now you think, like, how the hell do I get that now to go over the top of that, because it's on lugs. But what you do now is you put it on your lugs and you push it down. I can't do this now, and I'm sure, unless I can put the camera on. But as you're doing that now, this is always in gear, because it drops down into gear when you put it out. All you do now is you turn that in the rotation that makes this turn the right way. And as you do so the impeller turns the right way, and you push that down over it. I'll try and see if I can do it and video it and show you how easy it is. I'll see if I can get the phone. Okay, so there you have your impeller is in, and that just needs to go down. That now, as I say, is always in gear because that goes into the gear position when you lift out anyway. So now you turn that, making sure that the shaft is going in the direction that it will rotate when the engine's working. And all you do is you put on there, twist in and push in. Now the impeller's in and the housing is down tight. All you do now is you get your screws, the washers on, and okay, now I torqued them down, but I don't think there's anything fanatical or classical on it, but I didn't just do them up tight. I done that one, then I tightened them a bit more. I done them 3 times. Now I'm doing them for the 3rd time now. Torque, nothing fantastic. Torque, nothing fantastic, because it's not. All you can tighten them to is the strength that you know that this nut can take. It's judgment. All it remains now, put the legs back together. Okay? Just double check. They're all the same tightness. They're all done. Now let me get the leg in position and see if we can film that. Right, over the last 50 years I stripped a few engines down. Back in the day when we used to have old Perkins engines, old military ones, I don't think there was any such thing as stainless steel, and everything used to round off. And putting legs back on, with the connector, I've got to go on here, used to be hell. But nowadays this one comes to pieces so easy, it's a joke. But anyway, let me show you how I've got to put this back inside. And one thing I've got to line up is that with the gear linkage, and that is in the gear position. So when I put it in, I'll make sure the gear lead is in the gear position. And the only other problem now is getting the spindle up here to line up and go in the shaft. But they're multi-spline, so they usually go in pretty easy. So let me get that in and see if I can spare it. I've got the leg basically in place. And the only thing you've got to line it up is the one bolt on the front. So the idea is to get that in, and when you hold this up centre, it should be in line to go in. But now as you push it in, and hopefully it'll go on the spline at the top, you've got to line this connector here up with that pin there. And the only way to do it is, as this gap closes up, is to reach through here and hold that up in line until it goes in. So first you've got to make sure that is well and truly undone, so it ain't going to foul when it goes in. So I can't film that, there's no way I can film that. I don't know how long it's going to take, and I'll do it now and then show you after. Okay, I was having a hell of a job trying to get this to go in, and like I said, these multi-splines, normally they got a pin on the end and they go in and they key themselves in, especially if you've got this a bit, and it wouldn't go in, and I kept putting it in, in square, and it wasn't until I put it in here and the sealer was in the way, but I thought, well, I've got to make sure now that that shaft goes in the secondary hole here. There's a hole there that lines it up, so by the time that drops down on that bolt, that shaft has got to be in line with the receiver at the other end. So I looked in there with the torch as I put it in, and it just fell in. All it wants now is the connecting, So I must have been putting that in sideways, and it couldn't have been lining up in that centre line, because that's the only difference now, and it's actually falling in. So let me put it together now. This hard part now is lining that up. It should take 2 minutes, and then I'll put the bolts back in. Sorry about the light. I should have been filming from this side. As I say, I've just got to line this up now. There it is there. It looks like I might have to pull it out a little bit to get that to go in. But I know she's going to drop back in. So fingers crossed. And in actual fact, I can go out of gear. Now it will line up now, look. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what's done. Sorry about the bad filming, guys, anyway, but the little pin in there, as I say, when this dropped in, it literally fell in on its own. It literally dropped in, waiting to be pulled down with the nuts and bolts. But this was out of line. The pin, the bit there that goes on to the bar, I don't know any names, it was too long and it was hitting that. So what I done, I knocked her out of gear, down here, and then that dropped down, that then went down below the bar, and then what I did, I fingered it with a little screwdriver, because if you stick your finger in there you can't see nothing. Sorry I ain't keeping everything in line, but you know what I mean. If you stick your finger in there, it's when line up, you can't see anything. So I put a little screwdriver in, lined it up, and then started to put that into gear, and of course as it put that into gear, that piece there come up and went over the bar. So now all you can see ultimately is just clamping down with the bolts. And I thought I'd show you a little trick of mine. When you're working in places like this, it's hard to see in there, so I always have a little hand torch. And a lot of people wear a head torch, but if I put this on my head now and I'm looking in there, the head torch would be giving me a view like that, right? It'd be looking down past my eyes here. Whereas if you hold it in your mouth like I do, like that. Oh, this is how I'm trying to do this. This is hard. The only thing wrong with using a camera, a phone as a camera, is you can't line all up. But anyway, if I keep this in my mouth, look at the angle I got now. Good, the light goes straight in the hole, and I can open it up and down with my lips, and I get a perfect view. It makes life so much easier. Okay, I put her back together, and done the nuts up, torqued them down twice, they're just right. So what you meant to do now is tighten that up. That's the thing for the gear shift, and put the cap back on, and she's ready to go back together. Now let me tell you about this little engine. You can see she's quite old. She's been sat around. She hasn't done many miles now. If you look at her, she's like bloody new. And I've only ever used her as a backup. Basically, she never ever got used really. And so as I say, the inside here looks all new still, but the outside been sat on the back of a boat for like, I suppose 15, 16 years that I've had her. And the guy that had it off of me had it on the back of a canal boat, and it never ever got used, as I say. So, but when I bought it off of him, he said he had trouble with it, and the only trouble I had was the float arm. It's gone tight around the pin, so I ordered that, and then she used to flood, so I played with the carburetor and played with the carburetor, and now this time I bought her home and I'm playing with her good, and I think I've actually got her started, but she has never ever liked being let down. If you leave her stood up, she'll start and run beautiful, but the minute you lay her down, the first time you start her, she's a pig, and the easy and cheap and fast and nasty way to do it is squirt petrol in the pot, in the spark plug hole, or she's dry, pull her over, she starts. As soon as she starts, pull the choke and you're running, and then you don't have to do that again as long as you keep her upright. But today, as I said, I've done the curve, I've ordered the float before I've done this. Now I'm hoping when I put her back in the barrel, she's going to start without choking up with fuel. So we'll wait and see. Anyway, I've got to put two bits back on, engines back together. Lovely little engine. Okay, believe it or not, I've now got to the hardest part of the job, and that is this little thing. Got to go back in there. I've been trying and trying. How I ain't poked my fingers with a screwdriver, I don't know. But I took the leg back out, trying to get it in. But if you put it in before the leg goes on, which it looked like it was designed to do, then obviously you can't do that. So it's got to go on after it's in place. And the only thing I could have done, in the end, I cut the bit off there that sticks up there, and it receives up into there. It's not critical. If you've run the whole bloody boat without that, the engine has run perfectly still, because it's just access to that, and the water comes down with the exhaust. So anyway, I'm putting that in like that now. That's the hardest part. I've been here for an hour trying to get that in. I just give up, so I cut that bit off. Okay, and even with that little bit of rubber cut off, that was still a hard job to get in there. Now that, if it can come out, there's no way that can come out. If it does come out, I'm going to nickname this the Houdini rubber. But it ain't coming out of there, that's there to stay. The whole thing's working, in gear, everything. It's just a matter of putting it in the barrel now. And away we go, fingers crossed. Let me show you that next. Okay, and if you've got one of these old wheelie bins, treasure it. Because the outboard fits on it perfect. No wood added, it just fits on there, spot on. Works a treat. Anyway, and what you do, if you put it against something, like against the car, that opens up and you can put your tools in there while you're working. It's all wet at the moment because they've been shot and we've had some sun. But anyway, she's ready to try starting. So let me see what happens. Like I told you, she's been stood up now and led down, and she's a pick to start her, she's been led down. So if I start trying to start her, the petrol trick won't work. So I'm going to put petrol in there while she's dry. I know that will work and fire her up. And I've left her sat here now with the fuel switched on. There is fuel in there. I'm going to leave her with the fuel switched on so that has had a chance for the carburetor to rock a bit, a few taps a minute, make sure the flow ain't stuck. But anyway, fingers crossed. Okay, normally I use a syringe to get the fuel for the engine, but the syringe has gone dry, the rubber is snapped up. So what you do is you get a piece of pipe like this and you push it down into the fuel. You put the fuel in, you've got a nice bit of depth there. Put the pipe down in and put your finger over the top. Pull it out, and you've got a tube with some petrol in. Now I'm trying to keep the camera running to see what fun I have with this engine. I've got the plug out. Now I'm going to put that in the hole. I'm going to let that petrol go into the head. Okay, and I'll give it a little blow. Now the plug is bone dry, like I told you, the engine's been sat out for a week. So sorry it's hard to keep it in line. I'm putting the plug in. And tightening that up. Not too tight because the amount of these are undone. And like I said, the lid's handy to put your tools on. And remember to put the cap back on. Now hopefully she will fire up and run first go. Okay, I've turned the angle round now. This engine now is bone dry, like I said. I just put petrol in port and I've left that on. I'm getting ready to add the choke after she starts. And hopefully she should start straight away. I'm actually naffed that because I had to choke on. I think where I was setting the engine up, I left the choke on, so now I've put petrol in the pot and had that on. She fired out first go, as you see, but she's flooded. Now she gets a pick to start, end off. Well, I took the plug out, she's not too bad, she fired that quickly, but she's dry. So I'm going to put some more petrol in, and like I said, I think it's the carburetor playing up, not putting the fuel through. Let me get in the shed out of it while that's running. Anyway, it's pumping water, the impeller's working. What it was, why it wouldn't start, when I put the carburetor back together, I never adjusted the throttle, so I had to open the throttle right full up to get her to go. But now I've adjusted the throttle back, and now all I've got to do is tune her and try and get her to run slow. But anyway, that's it. The old engine's up and running, and fingers crossed, got me backup back. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I hope that was good. My camera works terrible. As I say, go and look at the torque wrench one. I'll put a link to it, you'll have a laugh with that. Because the torque wrench works different torques wherever you put your hand on the thing. So anyway, go and watch that for fun. So out for now, eat the rest.